Okay, it looks like we are live and we are about 6 minutes before showtime, and I'm going to try to bring this up on my laptop. See if I can do this and double check everything. There we go. I see the thumbnail. Watch prices. Best watches for the money. And this was not a scheduled broadcast. I just set this up about a half an hour ago, and you can see there's a bunch of dust on the diver, so I haven't even cleaned that off. But it's an emergency broadcast in response to a question on one of the videos and some discussions in some of the forums. And so we're going to address those issues. This might be a relatively brief broadcast. It just depends on how long it takes us to sort through these issues. And Jaden is in the house. We've got a member of the Wrench Gang in the house already taking care of security. And we'll give a couple of moments for some other folks to get in. Ahoy! There we go. Absolutely. So I have the I have the 005 Stunner on wrist right now because it's the only watch that I have that will comfortably fit underneath the tight cuffs. And these French cuffs I have are relatively tight. And so my Apple Watch actually will fit underneath as well. It's only 10 mils thick, so that's something about the Apple Watches is they are designed to work in any kind of attire, with any kind of attire. So we are going to talk about watches at different price points because I had a question about watches at different price points and what I would recommend. And I think that's a good discussion to have. And I think it's been a while since we've had a discussion like this. And I mentioned a couple of them in the description. And we're going to start out at the lower price tier. Obviously, if you're only going to spend 25 bucks, 50 bucks on a watch, I think you're going to get something like a Timex, something like one of the, do they still sell the inexpensive G-Shocks? I think they do. I think they have some affordable G-Shocks. If not, you get like a Timex Ironman. Don't they still make those? Let's take a look here and see if they still make those. I'm going to pull up Chrono 24, and I've already got it in one browser. I'm going to get it up in another window here just so that I can multitask. But let's check and see, because I haven't checked on these cheapy watches for a long time. And let's see what they've got for a Timex, Timex. So yeah, here are a whole bunch of watches coming up. There's one for 58 bucks. Of course, there's some more expensive ones too. There's one for $76. So you get different prices, different price range. And of course, I'm sure if you went on Amazon, you'd see some cheaper ones. These are ones that people are trying to get a premium for whatever reasons. So yeah, Timex, that's probably the low price watch of choice to get. Let me know in the chat if you think of any other options for a low price watch, 50 bucks, let's say, or less. And then we jump up from there. I'm going to jump up to well, actually, for about $200 or $300 back in the day, I don't know if you can still get them. You could get the, was it the 9937? The Invicta. There's an Invicta diver that's actually a pretty well-made watch. I did a video on it on my channel, and I think it was the 9937. Let's do a check here. Let's do a check here on an Invicta 9937. I think that's the model. Let's check this out. Okay, here we go. And here's one on Chrono 24 for 300 bucks. That's about what I was talking about. And this is probably the best made Invicta at least that I know about. And I did have one. It's got solid end links. It's got a decent movement, and I forget the exact movement they put in it. It's got a decent movement in it. They had quality control issues like all Invictas, but if you got a good one, if you got a good 9937, they're pretty good watches, and they are obviously made to look like a Submariner, and they're about the same size, 40 millimeters, but a pretty solid watch for that kind of money, for $300, I would say, assuming you get a good copy of one. And it's not that thick too. It was reasonably trim on wrist. So yeah, so that would be the Invicta in question. Okay, so somebody has a question. Blaze has a question. Put it in the chat. Absolutely. $50 or less, I recommend the Casio G-Shock DW 5600E. Not that fancy, but tough as nails and digital. There you go. So there we got our $50 recommendation. Okay, so then we jumped up to $300 range, and we're picking the Invicta 9937, assuming you get a good version of it. Then I'm going to jump up to the $500 price range, and we're going to talk about a Steinhardt, which I have some experience with, that made some decent watches. Let's see if I can pull one up here. Let's see what we can do. And so, yeah, so you can get them for around $500 all day long. You can see there's a couple of them. There's one for $400, one for $450. There's some at higher prices, but I would pass on those. So yeah, I would try to get one that was affordable. And let's see, here's one. Let's pull this up. This is a private seller. So just one photograph of it. So you can get those reasonably. I think they can be a relatively solid watch in that price range. Let me know what you guys think. And then from there, we're going to jump up to about the $700 price range. Maybe you'll get lucky, you can find one for $600. But I'm going to recommend the Shogun, the SBDC007, which I have reviews here on the channel, and a very robust watch. This watch is titanium, of course. This watch has the dia shield coating on it, which makes it very tough, very scratch resistant, but it cannot be refinished. That's the downside to having a titanium with a coating on it like that. Once it gets damaged and scratched and so on, you're going to live with that scratch. You can't refinish the watch. But that would be my choice in the, let's say, $700 price range. You might be able to get one as low as $600 if you look around. I think you can buy them new for probably $800. Okay, so so now we're up to $700 price range. Now we're starting to get interesting. When you get up to around $1,000, okay, let's see what we got in the comments, and we'll get to $1,000. Oh, let's see. Before I yawn, I'll cut to that shot there. Let's see. 300 or less, shop around and look for the Tissot PR100 automatic chronometer. 80-hour power reserve, 11 millimeters thick, 39 millimeters. There we go. Cool. Cool recommendation. What's your opinion on the Seiko SJE073J1? Okay, let's try to pull that up. Let's try to pull that up, see if we have any luck here. Oh, the prices are all over the place. I'm seeing one for $2,200. I'm seeing one for $3,250. Here's another one on Chrono 24. Oh, that's the same search on Chrono 24. I'm just not familiar with it, but I can tell you right now, if I was spending that kind of money, I think I would step into a Grand Seiko, because you could get all day long for that kind of money. You can get a decent Grand Seiko on eBay. So I think that's where I would go in that price range. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got here. I purchased a nice Seiko 5 for my 12-year-old son for less than $100 new. There you go. Just keep saving, get a GS. There you go. $1,000 plus Oris Diver 65. It's great. Brought my brother one for his 40th. Okay, there we go. An Oris. That's right. They've got some nice watches, I think, in that price range. Also, again, $1,000, you're getting close to being able to buy a used Grand Seiko 9F movement on eBay. If you look around, there's some interesting ones in that price range. We've talked about that before on the channel. And also $1,000, that high-end homage watch, Ganault or whatever the heck it is. Somebody will put in the chat what I'm talking about. That high-end copy, basically Submariner copy watch, that's around the $1,000 price range, $900 used, maybe $800 or $900. By all accounts, that's a very high-quality watch. And that $1,000 price range thereabouts. $1,000 plus, I remember Zodiac Super Seawolf, hand-finished case, wears a treat, 200-meter water resistance, has a ETA-based movement regulated to chronometer standards. Hey, there we go. We're looking at some really interesting buys. When you get up around $1,000, things are getting interesting. The Oris Fortress, Zodiac, and Sen are all great European-made watches in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. There we go. We're getting some great suggestions. And again, don't overlook the used Grand Seikos in that kind of price range. You get some pretty decent ones. Okay, so now let's jump up a little bit. When we get up around $3,000, okay, now you're up into the territory where you can buy a brand new 9F Stunner, like this one right here, for $3,000. Let's take a look. That's a real stunner that you can pick up all day long for around $3,000. Modern day stunner. That's about the limit that I would recommend spending on a steel watch, folks. It's about $3,000. Maybe stretch to $5,000, but I would not be able to see. I would not be able to justify myself spending more than $5,000 max. If I'm going to go up into that price range, now all of a sudden we're looking at a SBDC007. Let's check that out. Here we go. SBDC007. Isn't that the model number? No, that's not the model. SBGA. What the heck am I doing? What am I doing? SBGA. I can't keep these Grand Seiko model numbers straight. Okay, here we go. All right, so that's the diver right here. Okay, the titanium diver. And you can see used. I mean, you can easily. These prices are high because you can buy these things for around $5,000 used. And Greg Good has one for sale right now. So you might want to check that out if he's still selling his. I think he was at $4,500. So my guess is you can buy one of these titanium stunner, the SBGA231. My guess is you can buy that watch right there for around $5,000 used. And that is a lot of watch for that kind of money. $7,100 list price. Okay. So think about that. Okay, so we're up at $5,000, $5,000 price point, and we're talking about the SBGA231. And let me catch up on the comments here. Used GS9F quartz for $1,200 or so is a fantastic buy. Yeah, and they are on eBay. Now, a lot of them are the smaller sizes. So that's the issue you got to look out for there. But if you get lucky, you can probably find one. I see some steel and gold ones sometimes that are a respectable size, that are in the $1,200 to $1,500 or so price range on eBay. And we've done it before. We've gone and we've looked before. I'm not going to do that this show, but we've gone and looked and pulled up a bunch of really cool examples. Let's see. Craig, I'm jealous. Jealous of what? What are you jealous of? Gorgeous, the watch, that is. Okay. Solid gold vintage Omega pie pan. Okay. How much are they going for in good shape? SBDC007 was your Shogun. Yeah, that's the Shogun. Exactly. Yeah. I get these things confused. When you get old, you start getting confused. Is the Seamaster 300 diver with the coaxial a good buy? Well, see, that's the other thing, is you do see some vintage Seamasters, and some of the ones that back in the day, they weren't as thick as the ones now. They were, looked pretty good on the wrist. A guy was selling one the other day for $2,200, and it looked pretty sharp. So, yeah, that's a good buy in the $2,000 to $2,000 to $2,500 price range. I think you can pick those up all day long. Let me know in the chat if you agree with that. But, yeah, I think you can. Are you selling your GS diver, Mr. Marcus? I'm not actively selling it, but if a subscriber were to come to me with a reasonable offer, I could be tempted. To sell that puppy. It's really accurate. It's a really good one. You never know when somebody waves money in front of you, but Greg Good is selling his. I know for a fact he's selling his. He's advertised it several times in the Grand Seiko Owners Facebook page, Facebook group. So Greg Good, check it out. I think this is still for sale at a very reasonable price. Let's see here. He wants to buy another watch. He's a serial flipper. IWC Mark. Oh, okay. I'm not sure of that IWC. I'm not sure of that model. For around $3,000. Okay, pilot watch. Okay. SBGA259, SBGE215, 2GS Stunners. There we go. At 5K, you have Rolex Oyster Perpetual. Absolutely. And when you get up around 5K, you've got a lot of really nice used Datejusts in that price range. If you want an all-arounder, a Datejust, you're going to be able to pick up a used Datejust, and around in the $5,000 price range, you should be able to pick up one in pretty good shape. So that is always a good move, a 36 mil Datejust. Let's see, there are 37 millimeter GS9F dress watches out there. Absolutely, they're out there. Absolutely, they are, and that would be definitely a contender if you could pick up a deal on one. Rolex Oyster Perpetual and Datejust are both great buys. There you go. Yeah, we just talked. I just mentioned that. Yep. Let's see. 37 millimeter GSs are great buys. There you go. How expensive is it to get the battery changed on a 9F watch from a reputable watchmaker? I would think very cheap. I'm pretty sure if you bought it there, I'm pretty sure Steve, when the time comes, will switch out my battery. He probably won't even charge me. It's not a big deal to switch out the battery. It really isn't. You could actually do it yourself. So, yeah. Let's see here. What else? You can get some great Datejusts for $5,000. $5,000 will get you a very nice 16234. There you go. Absolutely. Okay, so we're at $5,000. So let's say we jump up to $7,000. $7,000. we start getting up. I don't know if we're quite up high enough to get a decent GMT Master used, an older GMT. I think for $7,000 you can get some Submariners, some vintage Submariners. Correct, folks? Let me know in the chat if for around $7,000 you can do that. But I don't know if I'd do that. I don't know if I'd pay a premium for those watches. I think if I get up around $7,000, it's kind of not enough to buy a Day-Date in decent shape. I think you got to get up around 10 for a used Day-Date. So I don't think we're at Day-Date territory. I'll tell you what you could probably get for $7,000, be my guess. You might be able to get an all-gold Datejust without the bracelet. A Datejust on a nice strap is a pretty cool-looking watch. All gold, 18 karat gold. That would be a move. That would be a move to make at $7,000. Let me check and see here if there's one on Chrono 24. It's hard to sort on here, but I'm just going to put 18K Datejust and see what I can figure out here. It's going to mostly be women's watches and stuff like that. Well, now that's interesting. I wonder what the condition of this puppy is. Here's a Datejust with an 18 karat gold bracelet. Oh, it's got to be an aftermarket bracelet or something. Something's got to be going on here. For $6,100. That is a strange situation. Let's take a look at what this is. I mean, you can never tell by these pictures. The pictures are always so lousy. But the pictures look pretty good. It looks to be a President bracelet. I don't know. I mean, is it an aftermarket bracelet? Is that the deal here? But $6,100? Are you kidding me? Let's see what they say here about this. Let's see. Yellow gold bracelet, wrist size 5.75. Oh, it's a woman's. Oh, sorry, folks. Sorry about that. Yours truly was fooled again. So it's a basically a lady date with a president bracelet. Yeah, those were common. So I'm not surprised you can pick one of those up. But hey, that was in pretty good shape. That'd be a nice gift for the lady friend. There's a bunch of turnographs here. I don't see a Datejust, just the 18 karat gold head without a strap. Here's a steel and gold one, which I don't think I'd pull the trigger on that, but here's a steel and gold one for $4,100, right? So, but I think if you hunted around, I think for $7,000 you could probably find a pretty nice Datejust in all gold. For that kind of money. So let me know what you think about that. Okay, so we're at $7,000. 7K buys you a Day-Date on leather. Yep, that'd be another possibility, would be a Day-Date on leather in really good shape. That would be a possibility. Okay, so we're at $7,000. From here on up, folks, we're talking all gold here. We're not talking steel on this channel in that kind of price range and that kind of money. Okay, so we get up to $10,000. And I think you're starting to get up to where you can buy a Day-Date with the President bracelet in decent shape. It's not going to be super tight. It's not going to be perfect for $10,000. But it's going to be pretty respectable, I think. You could buy a Day-Date for $10,000. 7K buys a whole lot of great watches. David Lee in the house. What do you think of the white gold Submariner Smurf? I'm not a fan of buying white gold. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It looks too much like steel. I just don't get it. If I'm going to spend a whole lot of money for a gold watch, I want 18 karat yellow freaking gold all day long. That's what I wore for 40 years, and it's stunning, and it's the way to go, in my opinion. And people, oh, I want to be under the radar and all this stuff. Well, you got a day-date. If you're dressed really nice and all that, it looks fine. It goes with the outfit, and but you know, you should be dressed nice when you're wearing something like that. I'm not talking about always wearing a suit. I'm talking about just dress nicely, you know, a nice expensive shirt. If you're wearing like some Bill's khakis and an expensive button-down collar shirt with the sleeves rolled up in the summertime, that's fine, right? Just wear expensive, high quality, nice clothes, a nice belt, nice alligator belt, some nice high quality shoes. And you're wearing a day date, that's fine. That's no problem. Goes right along with the program. Let's see here. Let's see. I reckon the two-tone sub is the best deal out there right now for modern Rolexes. Yeah, but I have never been a fan of two-tone. I always looked at two-tone as a compromise watch where you really wanted gold, but you couldn't afford it and you bought the steel and gold. I'd rather just back down and just buy the all-steel watch. And I get it that you can get more value for the money with the steel and gold right now because all these idiots are willing to pay like way too much for the steel watches. So yeah, that might be a time when you would step in and buy the steel and gold just because you can. You can buy it for the same price as the steel. Why wouldn't you? But I would rather fish around and find something that I can buy that's just all gold. Like even if I have to buy something on a strap, I think I would go that way, even though I'm not a strap fan. But now that we're up to $10,000, I think we're in the realm of you can definitely start getting some all gold watches. You can definitely get some decent Omegas that are all gold in the $10,000 range. And I think at $10,000, you're starting to get where you can get some pretty decent Rolexes too. Okay, so now let's jump up to $15,000. Things start really getting interesting at $15,000. At $15,000, we're talking a really good day date, an 18238 model day date in really great shape, one owner watch, tight bracelet, really good condition. You can buy those all day long for $15,000. And you can buy, in my opinion, a gold Submariner, pre-ceramic, you know, an all-gold Submariner will get up into the $15,000 range, maybe up to $16,000, $17,000. You're starting to talk about some really nice examples of those watches. So let's see, a $10,000 day date says more about the owner than any other watch. Well, here's the thing. A day date, an 18 karat yellow gold Rolex, it could be a day date, it could be a Submariner, it could be a GMT Master in all gold. They have an impact. People notice them, and even if they're not watch people, they're impressive looking. You don't have to be a watch person. You don't have to know watches. Those are impressive. People are not, let me underscore not, impressed by a steel watch. Period. I don't care what steel watch it is. I don't care if it's a $50,000 Patek, it's all steel or whatever. And if it's white gold, I don't care if it's white gold. They're not impressed. They don't know that it's white gold. They don't know what the heck it is. Most people don't even know. You got an 18 karat gold Patek on your wrist and you're dressed nice and all. That's impressive. Steel, no. Not going to impress anybody. I hate to break the news to you guys. It's not going to impress anybody. 18 karat yellow gold, absolutely going to impress them. Now, some people might take it negatively, but most don't. If you're dressed nicely and you're otherwise polite and not an asshole, it's going to be fine. So there you go. All right, let's see here. 18 karat gold matches my Alden loafers in shell cordon, and there you go. Absolutely. Two-tone GMT ceramic. Yeah, but you'd have to step up for that. Oh, two-tone. Two-tone. Okay, yeah. What do you think of the GMT2 18 karat gold green ceramic dial? Well, any GMT in all 18 karat gold is going to be impressive, I think. I like the older ones with the Jubilee bracelet. I think they were stunners, but the Jubilees I don't think held up that great in some cases. So there's that. Gold and diver watch doesn't make sense. I would rather go with a day-date, personally. That's the way I would go. But again, an all-gold Submariner is going to be a lot more impressive than a steel Submariner because it's just the gold. They're just going to see the gold. They don't even care what watch it is. They can just see the gold, and the gold is stunning. Always has been, always will be. And even if it's beat up, even if it's old, even if it's got a lot of wear and tear on it, it's still stunning. That's the way all that works. I got to plug my phone in for a second. It's getting low. Stand by just for a second here. Okay, so we're up at, let's say, $15,000, $17,000 range. All right, now we step up to $20,000. $20,000. We're definitely in the territory where you can buy a decent gold Patek Calatrava, a really nice one with a nice case design. We're definitely up in that range. We're also still in the range where you can buy a really high quality used day-date. If we get up a little bit higher, if we get up to around 20, I was looking just the other day, around 24,000-ish, the day-date 40s are starting to come down to that price range. A really nice one, day-date 40 in yellow gold. There's a couple of them on Chrono 24 for around 24,000-ish. So those are getting to be in that price range for somebody who wants a bigger watch. I don't know that I would go that way. I think I would stick with a 36 mil day-date myself, but some people want the bigger watch. And so now that we get up into that price range, the mid-20s, let's call it $24,000, $25,000, $26,000 range. You can buy a day-date 40 all day long in that price range. So that's a stunner. And then, of course, various Pateks and all gold. Now we're getting up into that price range. So personally, I wouldn't go any higher than that. I don't see a real justification in spending more than that for a watch because you can get these just super stunners that we're talking about. Now, if you did want something different and you wanted to step up to like an all gold with a gold bracelet and everything, some of those Pateks, that have the gold bracelet and all that, the prices get up there a little bit. Yeah, that would be interesting. But for an all-gold watch, a late model day-date or 36 mil or day-date 40 is hard to beat. Now, we've also got the watch that we showed the other day, this stunner here, that lists for, is it 25,000?
Dimensions and specific styling decisions.
Oh, darn it. What are they going to do?
Seem to hark back to the golden age of men's dress watches in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Now, the timepiece is handsomely equipped with a dark brown, large rectangular scale.
So yeah, I don't think there's any... I can't think of a legitimate reason to go higher than that kind of price range because I think you can get just an absolute stunner that you can wear every day. Again, on this channel, we're all about wearing and using these watches, so you can get watches that are very practical that you can actually wear, like that spring drive Grand Seiko there. That's going to be robust. Now, the Pateks, they can be a little bit finicky, right? That can be a little issue. But the day-date, that can absolutely take a licking and keep on ticking. That can be a day-in, day-out watch. So we're up in that price range. I think we're good to go. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see the 9F again. There's the 9F. You want a close-up of that puppy? Here we go. Let's see if we can get it in focus. Yeah. So there you go. It's very comfortable on wrist. This one's very nice size. This one's about 38.5 mils, I think, by 12 mils thick. So yeah, it works well for a dress cuff. Let's see here. 20 grand or less gets you a used Calatrava 5107, 5127, 5196. Plenty of gold Vacherons for that price too. Absolutely, you're getting into where you can get some really nice watches to wear. If I was spending 50K or less, then I'd get a used Patek 5396 annual calendar on a gold bracelet. Well, there we go. Now there we go. 20K gets you into serious. Yeah, Lange. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's Tim. Yeah, we show off that video that Tim did of that watch often. That's a hell of a watch. 70 grand for a steel 3-hand 5711 Nautilus is being silly. I think so. Side note, Tim Masso shouldn't wear a watch over 34 millimeters and should not be recommending 45 millimeter for a 5-inch wrist size. There you go. What are your thoughts on the GS Godzilla? I just watched a video about it today. And I don't like the design of it personally, but it's interesting in that it's titanium. It's kind of cool. I like the strap. I think the strap is kind of cool. I'm not a big fan of watches on a strap, but that said, I mean, it's pretty cool. So I can see somebody going for it. It wouldn't necessarily be my choice as far as that case design and everything. I like a more flowing, more, shape to the wrist case design. So yeah, that it's very interesting, but yeah, I think I would go a different direction. Let's see. I like your enthusiasm, but you have got to be a brand ambassador for Grand Seiko. Well, please tell them to hire me. I would love to have them send me some checks. Hey, it's Christmas time, No, they're not going to do that. First of all, they're clueless that I'm even doing what I'm doing. They don't watch any of these videos. They don't care. If you've paid any attention to their marketing, it's not exactly, all that. The only thing that is selling the Grand Seiko watches are the owners that are enthusiastic about them, because it ain't their marketing department. I can tell you that right now. So no, I don't think they're going to be hiring me as a brand ambassador anytime soon. Yeah. Now I have mentioned on this channel, they did pay for that trip that Steve and I took up to New York. They put us on the train first class, and we went up there for the day and had a good time. They fed us and all that. I made a video about it. It's on here on the channel. So that was nice of them to do that. But that was more really they were inviting Steve, and I just kind of went along. I mean, that wasn't because of me. But I enjoyed it. Let's see here. I just think I can't wear a full yellow gold. Oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. Absolutely, you can wear it. Now, the only problem is you got to make sure the rest of your gear, like your pen and everything, matches, right? So you want everything to match when you go to gold. Right now, the only thing that's not matching my outfit is this watch is not gold. So I've got to fix that problem. I've got to get something in gold at some point. And I will at some point. Let's see. Once again, can't stand Tim Masso. Well, come on. He's not that. He's an okay guy, I guess. Craig, would you sell a Panda Daytona for a 14060M Submariner 18238 and a share of Bitcoin? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. An 18238 is hard to beat. I meant I can't wear a full yellow gold watch. Why not? Too flashy? No, it's not too flashy. The Day-Date isn't that flashy. It's cool looking. It's not really flashy. Now, if you get one with diamonds and stuff like that, maybe, yeah, but it's not. It's really not. It's just a cool watch. It's really not that flashy. Let's see. Oris, best value for entry level luxury. There you go. Okay, I got you. Rolex, Omega, GS, and GLC are all great brands to buy. Still don't buy just any model from them. Yeah, you want to buy really what you want and what you really like so that you can wear it and enjoy it for many years. I mean, life is too short. We got to wear and enjoy these things. Can we get some love for the Rolex Cellini? I think there are some Cellinis that are interesting too. Some all-gold Cellini dress watches would be definitely in that $15,000 price range, probably. Absolutely. I think you could get some nice ones in there, maybe even down to $10,000. I'm not a fan of those lugs on the Godzilla, but then again, Godzilla wasn't that elegant. Yeah, I think it's well done for what it is, but yeah, it's not the way I would go with what I would want. But it is titanium, so it's probably very comfortable on wrist. Going back to the Day-Date, I don't think I will go back to a Day-Date just because I don't think I can go back to the lack of accuracy. I don't think I can lose the accuracy that I have with this watch and with that watch. I'm kind of spoiled now. And that's why I think I will lean towards that spring drive Grand Seiko, an all gold. I think that is, this right here is more
alligator leather, Grand Seiko factory strap. It features a monotone stitch, dark brown,
of a spring
folded
drive,
edge profile, and you can see on the underside calfskin. It is made in Japan, like almost every other feature of the watch.
I'll have it all
and it has a preternaturally buttery and worn-in feel, though it is a brand new strap.
So yeah. So that's on my radar screen. Let's see. I have the Hulk and saved up for a GMT gold green dial. Problem is $30K, maybe by next year. Green is the new blue. Okay, there we go. Craig, are there any Omegas you would consider in stainless steel? What about gold? Well, we talked earlier about some of the older Omegas that were relatively trim on the wrist. Some of the original Bond watches, for example, I think some of those are pretty cool that you can get for the low twos, you know, $2,000, $2,200 in that price range. I think some of those are a deal. Absolutely. Now, all gold, yeah, I think you can get some Omegas that are a pretty decent deal that are all gold. Absolutely, those would be on the radar screen at various price points. Craig, do you collect pins as well? Like I have have several DuPont pins. I wouldn't say I collect them. I use them. Everything I buy, I use. I don't just put stuff away as a collection. Okay, so I have several DuPont pins that I like and use. I'm a fan of them. They've never leaked and ruined a pocket of mine. They've always worked. I also use, believe it or not, around the office here and so on, I use Fisher space pins, because they always write. And I have some in the car. They always write no matter what the temperature or whatever. So I have DuPont pins. This is a DuPont right here. Let's give a close-up look at that. Okay, and then I have, and this dates from the early 80s. I have... again, several DuPonts, and then I also have the Fisher space pens. So that's what I have for in the way of pins. Let's see. I'm not a fan of movement decoration. Maybe if I get to your age, I can pull off a yellow gold Day-Date, but hey, I was wearing Day-Dates in my 30s. I got my first Day-Date when I was about 20 years old. And I didn't look back. I wore them from then on. Wore them for 40 years. They worked great till my eyes started getting weak. You got it backwards. It's better to have the Day-Date when you're young because you can read it easily. When you get older, it's harder to read the time on the puppy. That's why I got rid of mine. got so I couldn't read it without my reading glasses, and it got to be kind of a pain. Whereas this diver there, I can read that no matter what the situation. Light, dark, middle of the night, doesn't matter, I can read it. Not so much with the Day-Date. Okay, so Gold Day-Date is the best looking gold watch. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, for sure. Craig, that attire is crying out for Day-Date again with a legible dial, maybe a white dial. We don't need accuracy. We now have phones. And, you know, people make the comment, oh, I can get the time off my phone. The last thing I want to do is fumble with my phone to check the time. I don't get that. I don't get the whole concept of I'm going to use my phone as my watch. My phone is in my holster. It's safe. It's out of the way. I don't want to have to pull my phone out every time I want to check the time. That's the reason why I have a wristwatch, is to just turn my wrist and check the time very easily. I don't get the whole I'm going to use my phone thing. I guess that's a millennial thing, so I just don't get that whole thing. I'm from the UK. I love Sarasota. It's the only place in the USA where you can actually walk around from bar to bar and get a beer. It's like a British pub crawl, unlike the rest of normal USA. Sarasota is wonderful, and it's not just that. There's a lot of things wonderful about Sarasota. Craig, any good affordable fountain pens you recommend? I'm considering the Pilot. I'd get a used. I'd get a DuPont. But I'm not a fan of fountain pens. They seem like a kind of a pain to deal with. But yeah, I would probably look at some DuPonts. I don't know how affordable they'd be, but I don't think they're a ton on eBay. Craig, do you like Leica? I have some. I have some lenses that are Leica mount. They're not actual Leica lenses. Leica, yeah, is pretty amazing, but they didn't embrace video. And when I started transitioning over to shooting a lot of video, that's why I went Sony, because Sony was kind of ahead of the game on that. And I do like all my Sony cameras, so I'm more in the Sony camp. But yeah, Leica makes some really cool cameras. Absolutely, they do. A 3-watch rotation, are you going to say goodbye to the 9F? That's a very good question. If I get that dress watch, I will probably keep the 9F as sort of like a beater dress watch, like I will wear in circumstances where I might end up in the pool or in the hot tub or something like that, and I wouldn't want to take that gold stunner in that kind of a situation. So I might keep this for like a heavy use, or maybe also for a travel watch, times when I'm not going to want to take the expensive gold watch when I'm traveling around or whatever. It might be a little too risky. So I will probably keep 3 watches in the rotation for the time being, because it's not that expensive to keep this watch around. It's a $3,000 watch. It's not that big a deal, right? So I will probably keep 3. I may sell this and only have 2 in the rotation. It's possible. But I do like this watch. Let's see here. We're going to go through these comments here, and we're going to wrap this up. My collection before Craig, 20 cheap watches. My collection after Craig, 2 stunners. Excellent move. Excellent move. Yeah. Fisher Base Bends is my daily work pen. Absolutely. Craig, what's on your holiday wish list? Do you gift yourself anything? I'm thinking about getting one of those, a slider, an electronic slider. I have a slider that's manual that, you put the camera on, you slide it yourself. Edelkrom makes some really nice sliders that are electronic, that you can program with your phone and that will slide back and forth and do their thing. This is to put a camera on, right, to get that nice sliding motion. I've hesitated to get one because I don't like things like that are electronic that can give trouble and so on and so forth. But But I think I might lock and load on one of those, and they're not cheap. If you get a decent one from Edelkrom, you know, with the head that rotates also, I mean, you're probably talking about $700, $800, somewhere in that price range. So I'm tempted to get one of those, but I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do it. So there you go. But that's a possibility. That's the only thing really on my list right now. Craig, don't worry about being too young to wear something like a day-date. Dress like the person you want to become. There you go. That's right. What swim trunks do you recommend? Speedo. Speedo makes, and they don't make just the little tiny swim trunks. They make regular swim trunks, and they seem to be high quality. So yeah, I think that's the way I would go with that. I can appreciate your need for accuracy in a watch. The truth is the majority of people in today's world wear it as jewelry. Exactly. I mean, but there are a lot of things I do that are time sensitive, believe it or not. And I like to know what the time is as close as possible. I'm just funny that way. If I tell the radio station I'm going to call in at 12:06 p.m., you know, I'm going to call them at exactly 12:06. So yeah, I like that accuracy, and I like not having to second guess my watch. You know, knowing that I'm going to look at it and yeah, it's spot on. It's not even a question, right? So that's a nice feeling, I think. Let's see. I really do not care to sync the watch every 2 weeks. In other words, you don't mind syncing it every 2 weeks. Yeah, I hear you. It can be a pain, though, if they run slow. That can really be a pain, because then you got to recalibrate the second hand to the minute hand. It's just a pain. If they run a little fast, you just unscrew and just stop them for a few seconds, right? That's it. That's easy. Yes, Oris don't decorate their Solitas. Unfortunately, nice brand apart from that. Okay. I got to catch up here and then wrap this puppy up. Not having to fumble around with your phone to check the time is the same reason why people ditched pocket watches and started using wristwatches. Hey, good point. What is a good price for a gold DuPont pen? You're not going to see that many that are solid gold. You're going to see some that are called vermeil. I think that's what they call them. They're 925 sterling silver with a heavy gold plate over them. I have one that's that way. You're going to have some that are more like a brass with a heavy gold plate. You're not going to find that many that are solid gold. You'll find a number of them that are solid sterling silver, 925 silver. But that's a good question. I don't know how much one would be that's solid gold. I don't have any that are solid gold. So that's how that is. If that's what you're asking about, solid gold. So let's see. I have a Tudor Black Bay 41. It's accurate to plus or minus 5 seconds a day. Okay, there you go. Sarasota is awesome. All of England feels like Ohio. Disgusting. Don't even compare the two again. Jeez. We ditched pocket watches for wristwatches, and now we're going from pocket Apple watches to pocket Apple watches to Apple watches. Deja vu all over again. Yeah, in other words, yeah, that's why the Apple Watch came about, right? Is so that people can look on their wrist for the time again, and they don't have to fumble with their phone. Perfect point. And the Apple Watch is a hell of a tool. I mean, I've got one. It's a hell of a tool. I mean, I don't wear it these days, but I wore one for a couple of years. It was fun. Boarding now my flight to Madrid with my day-date 40 on wrist. Carlos out and about, in motion, literally making things happen. G-Town gifted himself some things. Oh, boy. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about a burger when you said sliders. Hey, I should get a slider. I should get that kind of a slider. Absolutely. Flying first class with a day-date 40 Carlos is on the move. Just looked at what Craig is wearing. Most people is a concept that doesn't apply to him. That's probably accurate. I've kind of been an oddball pretty much my whole life, so that's how that works. Yeah, I've never been called normal. Let's see, JFK Mont Blanc pen. That's what I've been using at work. Okay, I have a Mont Blanc. They're nice. I have one. Let's see. David Williams is back home. Craig, are you going to meet the lady? No, actually, Brianna is ill. She has a virus. She was feeling a little bit better today, and she was going to come over, but I said, no, let's wait a couple days. I want to make sure she's totally over it. Those things are contagious, right? So anyway, she's coming over on Thursday, so that's going to give her plenty of time to fully recover, and she's going to come over and spend Thursday and Friday here. So we're going to have some fun on Thursday and Friday, and I might try to rope her into doing a live broadcast with me. I'll see. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Would you like to have the lovely Brianna join us in a live stream? Let me know in the chat if you'd like to do that. Let's see. Love my Tudor Pelagos titanium in-house. Not sure why Tudor gets no love here. I guess it's an okay watch. Back in the day, we never considered Tudor. We always just bought the Rolex. And I think for the money, I think there are other options out there. That's all I'm saying. It's not a terrible watch, but I think some of these things are a little bit overhyped. I think Tudor's a little bit overhyped right now, but yeah, we talked about all the different options today and different price ranges, and we didn't mention any Tudors. Sorry about that. Craig, who makes the best sunglasses? Well, for years I wore Ray-Bans. I always wore Ray-Bans. I've got a bunch of vintage pairs of Ray-Bans. I've got a video here on my channel about them. So just search Ray-Ban and you'll see the video. I think they're great, the vintage ones. I don't know if they make them quite as good these days as they did back in the day, but I think they're probably still pretty good. A lot of stuff they don't make as good as they used to, though. That's a problem. What do you think of Montegrappa pens? I don't know. I have never used one. Sorry. Let's have Bree and Chip live stream. They're at Cheat Town saying, have Brianna in the house. I'm all about Brianna, says Jaden. Absolutely. Bring on Brianna. I get her to comment on men's watches. She will. She loves watches, and she loves Grand Seiko. She's saving up for a Grand Seiko. And I told her whatever she saves, I'll match it. I'll match it towards a Grand Seiko. So she's going to have skin in the game. It isn't just going to be an outright gift. It's going to be, she's going to have 50% action in the game. Let's see. And that is after she's paid off all her debts. She's got some student loan debts she has to pay off. See, before she met me, she made some foolish decisions, and we're straightening all that out. So she's hustling and working to get all her debts paid off, and then she's going to save up, and she's going to start investing, and we're going to get that young lady on the right track. That's what we're going to do. Let's see. Tudor Pelagos is a great watch. No nonsense titanium stunner, and my favorite model from the brand. There you go. Too thrifty myself to first class with all the family. Paying for emergency exit makes it better. Absolutely. Planning for yeah, I guess that's what you meant. Yeah, I mean, don't waste your money on that first class flight, for gosh sakes. My goodness, it's a lot more money. Hi, your opinion on glycine airman? I don't know what that is. Sorry, I'm sorry. Persol and Ray-Ban. Okay. Great. Bree live with you. There you go. Absolutely. The lovely Brianna live. And she's a very nice young lady, very smart. We're going to really get her going, get her cranked up. Can Bree model your clothes for us? Well, if you are nice and you ask her to do some things, she might do some things. We'll see. First of all, I got to get her to agree to do the show. That's step one. But she's a nice young lady. Be nice to her, treat her right, and I have found through experience, folks, that if you treat beautiful ladies nicely, with respect, and are just kind and reasonable, that they will be very nice in return. That's what I've found. I found that to be the case, because there's a lot of jerks out there that treat them like garbage. So if you treat them decently, you will stand out from all the jerks just for that reason alone. Very nice gesture on your part, matching funds for the young lady. Yes, I'm in a position now. As Dave Ramsey would say, I'm in baby step 7, which is a position in life where I can afford to be very generous. And I don't mind being very generous if people are, show appreciation and treat me right. I treat them right. And that's how it goes around here. That's how we do around here. Craig will say that okay, is ugly. Wearing the day-date 40, ask for an upgrade. Absolutely. When you got a day-date 40 on, they should give you an upgrade for the whole family. Absolutely. All right, on that note, we're going to wrap this puppy up, and I'm going to have dinner. You guys do the same. I got to get my phone from over yonder before I can wrap it up. And I was I was going to wear my my red, oops, the monitor flickered there. I was going to wear my red cashmere sweater because it's Christmas, right? We're almost at Christmas. And I remembered that I gave it to Brianna, so she's got it. She loves it. She sleeps in it and everything. And she looks a lot better in it than me. So yeah, so she had the sweater. Let me see if I can pull up that picture of her in the sweater. Let me see if I can pull that up. So that's that. I mean, that, it's gone. She brings it back when she comes and visits because she loves it. But yeah, I couldn't put it on because she's got it. So let me see here. Let me go to the photo stream and see if I can pull up this photo. This can be our Christmas photo. And I'm going to take some new Christmas photos with her when she comes. We were going to do it today, but like I said, she's sick, so we put that off. But let me see if I can pull up this photo. In the sweater, because this is a cool photo. Where is it? A lot of photos here I'm looking through. A lot of them are pretty stunning. Pretty stunning. Don't tell me I didn't put it in the set. Let me search cashmere. Maybe I didn't put it in the set. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So here's the lovely Brianna in my cashmere sweater. And so yeah, I'm not going to get that puppy back. That puppy is is hers now. She likes that. She likes that puppy, and she does look a lot better in it than me. And she also absconded with that mink hat. So she's got the mink hat also. So that's, I brought that back from Russia. So it actually fits her better than me. It was tight on me, so it fits her perfect. So yeah, I think she looks better in both of those items of clothing than I do. So let's see. Sometimes they upgrade me, but not today. Carlos says, great show. Says, okay. Is this the last live stream before Christmas? That's a good question. I've got some things I have to do tomorrow. So I'm not going to North Carolina to visit the family. They're down there. It's kind of the off year for Christmas down there, so I'm not going down there. So I might be around Christmas Day. I might do something, but we'll see. Don't turn that heating up. It's working just fine. David Lee in the house. Wow, what is Bree's Instagram? Bree Fit Dance. She's Bree Fit Dance on everything. BRIFIT Dance. Bree Fit Dance. So yeah, that's what she is on all the platforms. That picture, by the way, that we just looked at, it's got 5,000 views. 5,000 views. And let me make sure I put it in, yeah, it's in that album. I don't know why I didn't find it when I looked through that album. I got 544 pictures in her album on my Flickr. So there you go. Now, a lot of those are the same photo, like we took 4 or 5 different ways, and maybe different exposures and different things, right? So they're not all totally different photos, but yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and definitely follow Bree on Instagram, and definitely subscribe to her YouTube channel. She's a lot of fun. And that's how that works. All right, we're going to wrap this puppy up. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And if I don't talk to you before then, definitely have a Merry, Merry Christmas, and say hello to all the family and friends. And we will be back next time.